Welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
And of course, today we've got some special guests, and we're going to do a Daytona Beach report. We're going to review some detectors. As you can see, I got my lab coat on. Actually, I borrowed it from my son, and he's Dr. Phil, so I got his lab coat. And we're going to review some detectors by people who've actually used the detectors and get their thoughts on it. Especially John's going to review the Legend, and which is an awesome detector in that price range. Nothing can beat it. And then, of course, Jeff and Tim, the Mumbles man, is going to be reviewing the Deus 2.
That's it.
And
That's
both
it.
and or I guess it's the 9 and the 11-inch coil.
Yep. We're running both. Yep. So this is kind of, we better go through our normal routine, Phil.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. My wife is telling me to fix the sound on my cell phone because it keeps popping up. But let me get started. Of course, the purpose, wait a minute. Today's show is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the Treasure Talk guests and members belong solely to the guest and member, and not necessarily to Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin. And of course, the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of treasure hunting and metal detecting, and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And that's what we're going to do today.
Yes, we are. We are indeed. And this is kind of a special show, really, for me, because on a more of a personal note, I get to do a show with all three of my brothers from other mothers. Now, people ask me, hey, is Phil really your brother? Is Tim really your brother? Is John really your brother? And the best line I ever heard from the Mumbles man says, well, not by blood, but by choice. And that's the way I feel about it. Y'all three are my brothers from other mothers by my choice. Maybe not by blood, but it's by choice. So we've decided I'll just let people realize, we had, if you tuned in for Georgia Silver Hunter, that didn't work out. He didn't want to be on camera. And I didn't feel like that would work out for our show. So we replaced it with, the triumvirate on Daytona Beach, talking with the guru about detectors and detecting. So that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, and it's cool. I watch a lot of videos of people reviewing detectors, as you can tell by wearing my lab coat here. But that's just to poke a little fun. But what I like to do is talk to people who are actually out there using the detector. And I've used the Deus 2, and I haven't had a chance to use the Legend. So I'm glad John's going to be on and talking about that. But I've had a lot of customers using it, and they just love it. So it's always good to get a firsthand account of how they use it, especially when they use a different detector, and see how they're doing with it. And I've got a load of questions myself already made up on my page here. So we'll just run through mine. And of course, Jocelyn's on Facebook and Jeff is on YouTube and Facebook. So if you have a question on the Legend, the Mind Lab, or the Deus 2, or the Tersace, we can chat about all of them.
Yep, we can. And we will. We have been known to chat a bit. So we got a bunch of people in the chat tonight. So hopefully they're all friends of the show. Some have been on Treasure Tales, some have been on Treasure Talk, and some of them are upcoming. So down here in Daytona, it's been we've been blessed so far with the weather. Now the water's a little bit rough, as it often is on the Atlantic side.
Yes,
but we persevere. And I tell you what, let's just go ahead and let's bring on our two other brothers. and get into it, shall we?
Absolutely.
Now, these two guys are both very close friends to both Phil and myself. They are our two other brothers from other mothers. And a lot of you know them. Maybe if you don't know them, you're in for a treat tonight. So we have Tim, the Mumbles Man Nailer, and John Plays in the Dirt David. And John David is the one that the Mumbles Man and myself started the Blue Spade Society for. So we'll touch on a little bit on that too for some of you folks out there. But let's bring them on. And there they are, the Mumbles Man and Plays in the Dirt, John David.
Hey, y'all, how you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? Have you guys seen my cool glasses? These are my Versace's. I found these in the water.
Today?
Not today, on Thursday. I had a chance to get out a little bit and do a little hunting. So
You found some Versace's with a Tarsace?
Versace's with a Tersace. Yes,
That's it.
I did.
I have a hard time hearing that song.
So I've got perfect sound now. I don't hear any echo. So
Well, they're in the other room. They're in my bedroom.
okay, cool. Well, the sound's good. So I guess we'll start with John first on the legend. So, folks, if you have a question on the legend, the Nakamakra legend, go ahead and post it on YouTube or Facebook, and hopefully we can ask John about it. So, John, what was the other detector used before the legend?
I used the Equinox 600.
Okay.
And before that, I used Technetic T2.
Technetic T2 and the Equinox 600. And what is your opinion coming from the 600 and the T2 with the legend?
Oh, Lord, there's day and night difference in my book. If you follow what the directions say in the book and experiment with a little bit, you're going to be one happy camper. I've never heard anything so crisp and clear as I did today. First time on the beach with it. So, and the only time it sounds off is when you're on a target. And you don't even need the pinpointer. You can just wiggle it.
Wiggle it. Yeah, that's the coolness of these fast processors. That and the DS2 is the same way. If you wiggle the coil, you can figure out where it's at and not even waste the time of pinpointing.
Yeah.
Now, you're using a long-handled scoop, right?
Pardon?
You're using a long-handled scoop?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, use my long handle scoop, and as far as the wiggling goes with the legend, you don't have to go far because it's in that circle.
Okay. And how do you feel about the depth?
Well, I didn't get anything real deep. The targets that I was hitting today was about 8 inches, maybe 9 or 10. But nothing real deep like what Jeff was hitting. But I wasn't trying for targets, just trying for targets.
Yeah. Well, I think that after you use it a while, you'll probably get deeper targets than that, or you just can't walk over any
Oh,
deeper
there's lots of room
targets.
to play with on there. All kinds of adjustments.
Yeah, all kinds. Now, how do you feel about now, did you read the owner's manual?
How many times? I carry it with me. It's my Bible.
Okay.
I tell you what, I can tell you how John reads the owner's manual. I get up. Say, we're in a condo, a 2-bedroom condo. So I got my room over there. John's over here in the main condo. So I get up, like at 6 o'clock, and I come out here, and John's reading his manual. And when I went to bed last night, John was reading his manual. John likes his manual.
Well, that's good. And it's nice that they put it like the day is too. They put that manual right in the box, so you don't have to print it out yourself. So now you updated it for him, right, Jeff?
What was that?
The update. Hey, we're getting some back. Is that on my end? The back?
I don't know. It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. I'm getting some feedback. But you upgraded to the 7.0, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think we updated John. You're at the 7.0 in the legend, aren't you, John?
Yeah, 107.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that 6 and 7 worked flawlessly on the beach, and I think
Exactly.
7 just had some improvements on relic and coin hunting. But I think somewhere we're getting some feedback. Can you turn your sound down a little bit, Tim? All right. So how's that? Oh, I'm still hearing some. Darn it.
I'm not hearing
Maybe in
you.
too close proximity.
Yeah, I'm getting some echo, but I'll just have to deal with
Let's
it.
see. Let me turn my sound down a little bit. How's that? Well, I think I'm hearing myself on Tim's. I'll be right back. I'm going to close the door.
Yeah, that might work better. So, John, how about the feel of the detector?
How much what?
How the feel of the detector in the water and
Oh,
swinging?
it's like an extension off your arm. It's
Yeah.
so easy to swing. You get more tired carrying your scoop.
Yeah, because you've
It's
got
just an
the
extension.
you got the carbon fiber lower, and
Yes.
it's a nice setup, and it's not circular, so it won't spin on you. The
Mhm.
coil won't spin. So, like the diet, they're made very similar.
Mhm.
So,
They are.
all righty. And what was your good targets for the day? Just coins?
I'm sorry.
What targets did you get today?
Oh, coins, clad coins. Uh, Nothing to write home about, but it was hitting the targets real crisp and clear, and no slop to it. You knew where it was, just dig it and play in the sand and pick it up.
Right. And the legend comes with the wireless headphones. How did you feel about the wireless?
Oh, I love those wireless headphones. They're so much more comfortable on my ears and my head, and I think, in my opinion, they're clearer than the headphones that I am using. I got the wireless headphones for it, but the wireless is better, I think.
The wireless sound quality is better than the waterproof sound quality
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
from the
comfort wise.
Nokia.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I get that. I think that their technology is really good. That Bluetooth high speed, low latency is really nice.
It is.
And you guys aren't going out in the deep in the water because the waves are too rough. So you could get away with just using the wireless on the East Coast.
Exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
plan on using tomorrow.
You got to. Okay.
Yeah, we were getting echo on from you, Phil.
Is it echo from me?
Yeah.
You want me sign back in?
No, just you got a phone going on the volume on the phone. What?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let me sign back in, Jeff,
Okay.
because
Bye.
it's. I'll sign out and sign back in. Maybe the echo will be gone. All right, guys, I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. So, well, there is an echo.
Still
Yeah,
there?
there is an echo.
Yeah.
We'll just have to. We'll figure it out. Either that, or we'll just have to hear it twice. That's all. Here's the guru.
All right, we still got some.
Yeah, we're still getting an echo, but that's all right. We'll push through.
Yeah,
Everybody.
all right. Well, we've got some questions on Facebook, and the first one is asking from John Brantley. He's asking if anybody in this group uses the day as two.
Both of us, both the Mumbles man and myself, are using the Deus too. Now, Tim is using the 11-inch coil, and I'm using the 9-inch coil. And we are both running the bone conductive headphones, which in my mind is absolutely a game changer. It is for me at any rate. It's just, it's amazing to me. Yeah, I was having trouble on the Equinox with the Eisenhower phones that I had, which is about as good as you could get for headphones. I couldn't hear the real faint signals and where Tim could always hear them. And Tim will attest that I always tell him, Tim, I can't hear the signal. But I tell you what, with these bone conducting phones, you hear them. I've dug a dime today. I guarantee you, it was 18 inches deep. Now, I didn't get any VDI numbers, but I got a tone until I put about a scoop and a half on it, and then I started getting the tone. So that Deus 2 is deep, 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 and just running just as smooth as it can run. I ran just a standard beach program, and I modified my salt sensitivity a little bit, but I was running my sensitivity at 95 to 97. And when I never had to touch it. So I ran beach, and then I ran beach sensi. And
Okay.
you know, modify your reactivity a little bit and your salt sensitivity. And when you get into the surf, you know, there's a lot of other detectors you start getting all this false.
Right.
With that Deus 2, you don't get it.
All right. So, Jeff,
That is a magnificent machine.
yes, Jeff, turn your sensitivity down like a 1 or 2 clicks.
Do what?
Can you turn it down a hair?
I can turn down my volume.
Yeah, just a hair.
How's that?
I'm still getting.
I don't think it's the volume.
Yeah.
I think it's a too close proximity.
Oh, you're too close to the other guys. Okay, that's no worries. We'll keep going. I can handle it. The question I had also, Jeff, on the Deus 2, are you ground balancing?
Oh yes.
Okay. And then how do you know when you're, and this goes to you, Tim, too. How do you know when you've got the right salt to the salinity setting?
Tim?
When you, when you run your coil in the water, and if the surf goes over it, you know, you'll always hear some falsing. But when you get the salt sensitivity correct, there's no chirping, nothing,
And-
just silent.
Okay, and then the salt sensitivity, salinity sensitivity, or whatever it is, what is the range of that?
I think it goes from 1 to
9 or?
1 to
Yeah, it goes 9.
And what are you running it at?
I'm running at 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Okay. All right. And how do you feel about you've used the Equinox also. How do you feel about the Deus 2 compared to the Equinox?
It's almost, you know, night and day. I mean, the Deus 2 is a lot more sensitive. It's deeper, in my opinion. You can find little teeny tiny chains, everything with that thing that you can't find with Deus 2. It's easily.
I hear it perfect. Oh, nobody else can hear it? Okay, you guys got to turn your sound up a hair.
Yeah.
Or talk louder. Okay. All right. And the other thing I want to ask about the Deus 2. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can hear you guys better now for some reason. I don't hear any echo. What happened?
We adjusted the salt sensitivity.
That's right.
You adjusted the salt sensitivity. Perfect.
Who knew?
Who knew on a live stream? You adjust your salt sensitivity. Okay, so the same thing I was asking about the depth of the targets, and we talked about this earlier with Jeff. Were you finding coins that sounded good or good targets but didn't get a reading on the display?
Absolutely. Not until you take 2 or 3 scoops off do you get a good VDI number.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll even get a bad VDI, like it may bring up like 00 or something like that, but it sounds good. You take a couple scoops off, you get a better reading, and it's usually something really good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I had a couple today, especially with those bone conductive headphones, when you get that iron, it just kind of goes woo, 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 woo. But you got a little chirp in there. So I dug a couple of coins today right in the midst of a heavy iron signal. So the separation on this machine is just absolutely magnificent. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, you know, and I'm using the 9-inch coil. Now, you may get a little bit more depth with the 11-inch coil, but I ought to tell you what, I don't know if I want any more depth. I'm an old person, and digging 18 to 20-inch holes in wet sand, that's kind of a chore.
Yeah, I had to cut in for 1 second, Jeff, and we'll get back to that. But someone was asking if I sell the bone conductive headphones. Yes, I have those in stock, of course. And of course, I have both models of the Deus 2 in stock. But you're digging that deep, and that creates a problem. You've got to have a really good scoop to get that sand out because your hole's filling back in.
Yep.
So that makes digging a coin at 2 feet a tough project to get 3 scoops out of there before it starts backfilling back in there. And Jocelyn's asking me to read this question from Gary. Jeff, on the Deus 2, do you use earplugs with the bone headphones? I used the bone headphones last week and did not need the earplug.
Well, I think that depends on each individual. When you're on the beach, specifically, let's say Daytona Beach, it's breezy, and all the ambient noise. I like the earplug because it helps me concentrate a little bit better. I mean, you can still hear kind of what's going on around you.
Yeah.
But the earplugs kind of shut out all the ambient noise and the whistling of the wind. But what amazes me with those bone conductive headphones, you hear every tone, even the little slight whisper tones. You hear them. And to me, that's amazing for me.
Yeah. And those headphones, for folks who don't know, they don't go over your ear, they go over your ear bone.
Right here, right in front of your ear.
Yes.
And trust me, do not put them on your ears. It states in the manual not to put them on your ears because you can damage your ears. And believe me, that is the case. Now, I'm running my volume about 4 to 5, and I'm deaf as a post in most instances.
Yeah.
You know, so that is just something that I think you will see in the future. A lot of the other major manufacturers, they're going to have to go to something like that. I really do think so.
Yeah, and I think with Gary, he might have been, and I don't know this, but he might have been on the West Coast since he lives in Lakeland, I think. And, you know, we don't have the wave action and the noise as bad as it is on the East Coast.
Right. And it depends where he was hunting, too. If he was hunting in a yard or something like that, or some quieter setting, you might possibly wouldn't need it.
Yeah. And Gary, for you folks who don't know, he's got the YouTube channel, I think it's Double G Dig. Somebody will correct me. But also, he is a actor, because I was just watching a movie last night, The Florida Project. If you have a chance to watch that, it's kind of a sad story, but Gary is actually the police officer in that movie. And I thought that was pretty impressive. He's got a few lines in it, too. So I've known Gary for years.
And the line is not up against the wall or anything, I don't think.
Yeah, he's the police officer in that movie, and Jocelyn just said she wants his autograph now because now she knows the movie action.
Okay, we got a question from Mark Priorella from YouTube. He wants to know what we do with the puck with the bone headphones. So Tim, why don't you take that one?
Leave it at home. You don't need the puck with the bone phones. I pack mine and bring it with me in case I want to just dry sand or something like that. Then I'll put it on my other headphones. But with the bone phones, you do not need the puck at all.
Yeah, because they're not wireless. They're wired headphones, but they're waterproof. So if you're in the water, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and if you do like the puck and you're not going to go deep in the water, we do have the platinum Grey Ghost headphones that puck slides right on.
Yeah.
And those are a good quality sound because there's 2 different models of the Grey Ghost. And the platinum have the best sound. And that's the ones they stock in the house right now.
Oh, we got a comment from Philip Fairclough. that he says John David kind of looks like Sean Connery sitting there.
Wish I had his money. Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
funny.
that.
Oh goodness.
He's
Oh, the
yellow 3.5.
yeah, the echo is back. Oh, the pleasures of doing live streams.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
But
We
it's
still
all
got we're getting echoes again. I don't know what the.
but it's all fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But let me keep. I guess we'll keep talking about the Deus 2 right now. And oh, I think the echo left.
No, you're right.
They gotta turn off some computers.
But I think it might be too many computers. Charleston, so turn off some computers. But I think it. No, don't do that. He's going to yell at me. I think the echo is starting to bother her. Let me see if I can turn my sound.
You know what I say to that, Josh? More wine.
More wine, yes. More wine would help.
It certainly can't hurt.
Yeah, more wine. So the depth of the Deus 2, you think is how much deeper than the other detectors you've used, Jeff?
Oh, jeez. Tim, you take that one first, and then I'll answer.
It all depends on where you're hunting, but it seems like at least 4 or 5 inches deeper at least. Then I'm getting at least that much more depth.
Okay.
But I'm using an 11-inch coil too.
Using
Yeah,
11-inch.
you know, we have hunted Daytona a lot with Equinox and Excalibur. And I have to tell you, I agree with Tim. It's at least 5 to 6 inches, and that's with my 9-inch coil. It's that sensitive, and I think they've got it dialed in such with those programs. Beach sensitive. Now I haven't used the diving program yet, but I don't see really a need. And it's just quiet until you hit a signal, and then boom. It's there. So it's like I said, Phil, when you and I were talking earlier, for me personally, I think it's definitely a game changer for me.
Yeah,
Get your attention.
I think they looked at that Equinox and said, how can we do something even better? And I think they succeeded with that. So
Yeah, no, I took the only thing I didn't like about the Deus was you got to have the antenna, obviously, but I don't like wrapping it around the outside of the stem, so I modified mine. I got it right here, and I don't know if it'll show up or not on the camera. It probably won't. But if you can see right there, I ran it through. Right here's my coil. I ran it through the back, up through the stem, and I drilled a little hole, put a grommet in it so it comes out, and it's hooked onto the remote control, and I just leave it like that all the time. So it works very well, transitioning from the water, not the water. And I just don't like the thing wrapped around the outside. But everybody's different in that regard.
yeah, I was talking to you about that, Jeff. Wrapping around that outside, it's such a thin wire, looks a little cheesy, and I think that's fixed it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So for folks who don't know, the Deus 2 is completely wireless. So you have to have that antenna on there in order for the coil to communicate with the detector house. It's different than other manufacturers, which is kind of cool. Because especially if that coil wire were to go bad on a coil, you'd have to buy a whole new coil. Those antenna are. Did you unmute me, Jeff?
Yeah, I muted you.
Okay. Hey, mute Tim and see if it still does that. Okay, so Yeah. So now, can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. And I think what it is, I think it's just too close proximity
Okay. So
for
when we
that.
need to talk to
Uh,
Tim and John, we'll just unmute them and mute me.
you can hear us, right, Tim?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
When a question comes through to you, we'll unmute you.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's called a bush fix.
that's right. It's called "We Get By with a Little Help from Our Friends."
Absolutely. So anyway, back to the Deus 2. Jeff, you think it's a game changer for depth, and also, how do you feel the display and learning everything is? It's a little tougher than the Equinox and probably the Legend too. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, it's. Let's take the Equinox first. It is a little bit different than the Equinox, but all in all, if anybody has any kind of a previous detector knowledge, it's not that bad because you can go right into with the stock programs. Now we haven't really changed anything. The only thing we changed was like the salt sensitivity, and that's very easy to do, and it comes with the manual. Um, so I don't know. It's more adjustable, let's say, and customizable than the Equinox. Now, as far as the Legend, because we've been talking at length with John on the Legend about how to go about things, and the Legend is pretty customizable as well.
Right.
I mean, you can adjust the saline on it and all kinds of stuff like that. So, um, Tim and John were really working on it this morning out on the beach. So let's bring them in and let them kind of touch base on that.
Yeah, do that, and then just mute me so we don't get the echo.
Okay.
Okay, as far as the Legend goes, I've always had just the standard detectors, the T2, the Equinox, etc. But if you read the book on the Legend, it depends on how you cipher what they're saying. You got to read what they're trying to tell you. It is simple, but it can be hair pulling too. And that's why I asked Tim if he would read a certain section and tell me what he thinks. And we got it squared away, and now I know how to operate it. There's
And
still
you ain't even bald headed yet, John.
Pardon?
You ain't even bald headed yet.
Not yet, not like you. But it's a darn good machine. I'm really super impressed with it, and it goes as the number one machine in my stockpile of machines.
So what about you, Timmy?
What you want to know?
Well, the same questions.
That was 5 minutes ago, dude. Man, come on. You expect me to remember? What was the question?
What questions about the Deus 2? In relation to Equinox, because you've used an Equinox, and then the same question for the Legend, because you were helping John with it.
I've had some experience with the Deus before. I was a Deus 1 owner, still am, and it's easy once you read your manual, understand it, go around, play with it. It's just so doggone customizable that you can almost adjust anything, adjust it to fit any situation, any place that you're hunting, and it'll work out. It's a great machine.
And what do you think about because you were working with John on the Legend?
That's highly customizable too. A lot more adjustable than Equinox ever was.
Right.
It's got the same like salt salinity adjustment, sensitivity, reactivity, all of it. I mean, it's very customizable, especially for the price point. It's a great machine.
No
And it's
brainer.
built like a tank, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, I've never heard of a Nocta product having ear problems, you know, coil ear problems or flooding. You know, like with the simplex, I'm not saying it never happened, but I've not heard of it. I'm with you, Tim and John. I think that the legend is that's a really great machine.
It is.
So let's bring Phil back in. I'm going to mute you guys.
Here, Jeff, is now we have the consumer always wins because we have better products and newer products, and now the consumer has a big choice. You know, in the multi-frequency detectors, you've got the Legend, I'm talking about waterproof detectors. You've got the
Mhm.
Legend, you've got the MindLab Equinox, you've got the Deus 2, two different coil sizes on that. And also the Legend has the Pro Pack. So the consumer has a lot of choices on detectors. And the performance of detectors today is just incredible to what it was, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? MindLab
Mm.
was the top dog with the Equinox, and now they've got all these other detectors to compete with. So I think you're going to see them making specials to try to keep some of their market share. But I can see it already is happening. The Deus 2 and the Equinox are going to take some of their sales. It's just going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I think it already has. I
Yes.
mean, if you look at some of the big YouTube channels, for instance, because John and Tim and I were talking about this, you know, not to do name dropping or plug their channels or anything, but you look at one that's got a ton of subscribers, like Michael Oliver. All of a sudden, you know, he was strictly a MindLab Excalibur user because most of his are done with using the Nemo or diving.
Yeah.
And now he's using the Deus too.
Yes, and the cool thing about the Deus 2 also is it is waterproof to 60 feet. So if you wanted to dive deeper than 10 feet, that's a sell feature right there that you could go deeper with it.
Yeah.
So for the folks who don't want to buy an Excalibur 2, they just want to have a multi-purpose detector. I think that is just an awesome unit for that if you wanted to dive along with it. Probably it's easier to dive with that 9-inch coil than the 11-inch, but I
I would
imagine
think so. Yeah, I think so.
and I would imagine there are going to be more coils both for the Legend and for the Deus 2. I think there's the 13-inch coil coming out for the Legend, and
Yeah.
that one. Uh-oh, somebody's got a phone ring. What's
Well,
that
that's
mean?
the phone in the condo, but I'm not answering. It's probably a spam risk. And I don't know
Spam
why they
risk.
keep calling us all the time.
You saw my post on spam risk.
Yes, I
Why
did.
does he or she call me 30 times a day?
That's right.
Oh
That's right.
goodness.
But on another thing, Phil, and I just booked them again for the fall, is Anderson Shafts. Now they're making a dive shaft for the Deus too.
Yeah, and the standard shaft for it too. I was looking at that.
Yeah.
Um,
So, you know, the first opportunity we have is August for him to be on, but so he's coming on to talk about that kind of stuff, and I'm sure he's going to have stuff for the legend as well.
Yeah, and
You know?
I know he will, but the with the Deus 2, I've already had some customers who were asking for a longer shaft, and I think that Anderson one will probably be a couple inches longer. That's all they need. They're just a little taller, and they feel like it if you have it extended all the way to the end, it feels a little wobbly, and they want a longer shaft. So that's probably going to be the answer for that.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
Whereas the Legend, you don't have to worry about that because the Legend already has out today a middle shaft that is extended. So if you were a tall guy swinging a Legend, you can get that because you can use the Simplex middle shaft,
Mhm.
which is like 5 or 6 inches longer, and you could be out there today with it. So I know Deus will come out with something, but they're just trying to keep up with their demand for their detectors, and some of their accessories just haven't caught up yet. But
Right.
yeah, I saw that on the Anderson website, and I'll probably have them in stock, I would think, before August when they come on the show. But yeah, that
Right.
is something that I'm right now actively placing an order for.
Yeah. Well, I see a question on Facebook, and I don't know if it's on Treasure Talk
Justin's
or
got
Blue
one
Spade
too.
Society or whatever. I want to know about the Deus 2 compares to a deep diving PI machine. My response to that would be that you've got some discrimination and with the Deus 2, but the sensitivity. So with the iron discrimination, you're not going to be digging a bunch of nails and that kind of stuff if you're diving. So for my money, and I'm not a diver, but if I was, I think I would prefer the Deus over a PI machine in that regard.
Yeah, that was Debbie Edwards, and she was on the Treasure Talk page. Jocelyn just told me,
Okay.
and that my thoughts on that is the Deus 2 will be more, I guess, versatile, because you couldn't take that PI out into a field or a yard and use it to coin or metal detect, because you dig every nail there is on a PI. Whereas on the Deus 2, you could use it. You could still dive with it 60 feet. And to me, it would just be a no-brainer to use something like that over like the PIs that are in existence today, like the Sea Hunter Mark II. I
Mhm.
know the Tersace is a PI, but it's kind of, well, I shouldn't say it's a PI. It's a hybrid between the two, and it does have target ID, so you could use that anywhere.
Mhm.
So, what is your question?
It was Debbie Edwards. She wanted to know cost versus cost.
Cost versus cost on the Deus 2. The Deus 2 price is $15.99. We do run store specials, and also the Legend is a lot cheaper, a different price point, $635 and $765 for the Pro Pack.
Yeah.
So uh, you know, and then you got Mind Lab in the middle there at 1,000 for the 800 to have comparable features as the Legend. So you got a lot to choose from now. Like
Yeah,
I say,
like you said, Phil, there's a super wide variety.
yes,
So whatever type of hunting you're doing, the Deus 2 will, any type of hunting you want, as will the Legend, as will, the Mind Lab Equinox. So, for the in the price range you've got, you pretty much got it made in the shade. You know,
absolutely. And
let's uh, let's see what these boys think about that.
and also let's talk about the warranty period. That Deus 2's got the 5-year warranty,
Uh-huh.
whereas the Legend has a 3-year. So, and the Legend is built on the simplex housing, so that's been a good thing because none of those have leaked. Deleek has told us that, and I've never had one any customer tell me they have one leak. So that's a really good feature. It's built well.
Yeah, well, we've got a question too from Metal Detecting Florida off YouTube. Wants to know, how is it on dry land relic hunting? Well, I'll answer that after. Let's have Tim, because he's used his on the land as I have. I think I understand he's about the Deus 2, and then we'll ask John about the Legend. So I'm going to mute you, Phil, and let them answer.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, Tim, did you hear that question?
That one I heard. On land, I've not used it a whole lot, but I have the 11-inch coil, and even in the iron, that thing it's great. It's separation, reactivity. I mean, it's just a fantastic machine. Can't say I found silver yet, but it's coming.
Oh, I think so. John, what about the Legend?
On the Legend, I haven't been out that much because I had the wedding, my daughter's wedding. But on land, it is a piece of cake. I enjoy it very much. I find clad. I haven't found no silver yet. Of course, I'm also handicapped, so I can only do it for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm shot. But I give it my go. But it finds everything that I look for, and silver as well as, coins as well as jewelry. I have found some jewelry, but a lot of stainless steel jewelry nowadays.
But you did also, John, out at the 1846 farm, you found an old Model T hubcap,
Yes, I did.
and that is a relic. So,
Yeah, you was there, you witnessed it.
in relation to the Equinox, I think the Legend is right there, if not just a little bit better, because it's more adjustable and customizable. Do you think?
I would
Yep.
agree.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I'm fixing to mute y'all. Okay, Phil, we're back.
Okay, I'm back. I've used the Deus 2 a little bit and Deus 1 a little bit on land, and those processors in both of those detectors, I realized why they're used. The Deus 1 I thought was used primarily for relic and coin hunting
Mm-hmm.
and heavy iron, and of course, I'm sure you saw a bunch of people use them over in England.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Because they,
that's very much used in England.
yeah, because they're a French company, and I think they just were driven to hunt in properties that had people on it for 1,000+ years. So they knew they had to come up with something that had a real fast processor to read all the targets, and then of course pick the good ones out of it. And that's why I think they were known for coin and relic hunting in Europe. But now with the multi-frequency, they hunt well on the salt sand. So I think for someone, either one of those detectors or the Mine Lab for that matter, they're all fast processors.
Yeah.
And the Mine Lab started, and these other two companies have caught up with them or passed them. And I just think the consumer just won this time because they have a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a question off YouTube from Dirty Money Metal Detecting. He says, how would we know if a Legend or Deus flood? It seems like that hasn't been out long enough to know. Well, that may be and may not be. But if you look at the Nocta product, I haven't heard of any of the Simplex
Yeah.
that were flooding.
Yeah.
And and there's been enough Deus 2's been out there and used in the water. So if they were really going to flood, they would probably flood. In all fairness, there's a lot of people that have the Equinox that hasn't flooded. Now
No.
I had 3 flood, so it's in individual cases, and nobody's saying that the Equinox is always going to flood. No, it has a history of flooding, but that can happen with anything. And we're not bashing any detector. I want everybody to understand that. If you like the Equinox and it works well for you, more power to you. It's a great detector. So
Yeah.
we're not detector bashing. I just want
No.
everybody to understand that.
Yeah, the Equinox is a good detector, and they had some flood, but they sold so many of them. It's such a small percentage, but still, it's a little irritating when that happens. But luckily, Mine Lab, they stand behind it, and you got a 3-year warranty. And like I tell folks, if you have a Mine Lab product, it's got a 3-year warranty. After that, I would just use it for dirt digging and get another one if you like Mine Lab, or get a Deus or a Legend if you want to be in the water with it, because that's just the way to go. Hey, and I want to say hello to my friend Tom Becker. I was hunting with him last Thursday. I guess he's back in Ohio by now. And
He's
thank
back
you,
up
Tom.
there in freezing land.
Yes. Thank you, Tom, for the syrup. He brought me a quart of maple syrup from Ohio. So I thought that was
And
kind of
who was
cool.
that?
That was Tom Becker.
Well, John Brantley
That's a
just
question.
said he never got his Equinox wet.
He never got his Equinox wet or leak.
He said he never got my Equinox wet.
He probably never took it in the water. Well, a
He
lot of
never
people
did.
are like that. A lot of people, they don't want to be out in the water, but Jeff and I and Tim and John, I'm sure we like to get in the water because especially here in Florida, if the water's warm, we want to be in it. It's a little cooler than the air, so it makes it a nice hunt, especially on the
Yeah,
west
and
coast.
obviously, if you're not going to take it in the water, it's not going to flood. I mean, by
Absolutely.
getting rained on, it's not going to flood. So,
No.
Let's keep it on track here, if
Yes,
we would.
absolutely. Yeah, we like to get in the water because I feel like there's more good targets lost in the wet sand or the water. And I just think that's where the treasure's at. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff out in the dry sand, but I would rather hunt the wet sand. How about you guys?
Let's get the. I'm going to mute you and bring them in.
Okay,
Well, I'll mute
go ahead.
myself.
Go for it, John. What was that?
Am I muted?
I prefer hunting in the water in the wet sand. For me, hunting the dry sand, it's hard on my legs and my hips. I have no problem with hunting in the dry sand for anybody else, but not for me.
As far as I go, I have problems, so the water tires me out pretty fast. And so I do like to go knee deep and less in the water. But wet sand, I love it. Dry sand, if I want to dry sand, I'll do some land digging.
Absolutely. So am I muted, Jeff, or am I on?
You're on.
I'll hear you.
Okay. Well, I see Al Audette is telling me the west coast of Florida is not the same as the east coast, and that's absolutely right. We
That's
get the flat Gulf, and it makes it for a peaceful, nice, and smooth hunt. Whereas you guys are over in Daytona, you know how big the waves get there. You could get a surfboard out there and get on the surf. And
You get beat up pretty bad.
Yes, I don't like getting beat up. If it's wavy, I'm not going to be in the water, even on the west coast of Florida. And it looks like we've got the banner going, so we're going to give away a swag pack.
Yes, we do. It's going to be a mystery swag pack from Myers Metal Detectors.
Yes, we can do that.
So let me see who the winner is.
And they've got 3 minutes to do it.
That's right. They got 3 minutes to text or messenger either Phil or myself, and with your name, and it's your here, please, so we know who it is.
Yes.
And then what you must do is you must email us your info, your name, address, phone number, and shirt size, so we don't have to go back to you and ask. You must email it to treasuretalkshow@gmail.com. And then Phil will take that email, and your mystery swag pack will be delivered to you.
Absolutely.
So if Indiana Tones, your name is up. If you are in the house, you got the numbers down there. Text or messenger within 3 minutes.
Who is it on?
Indiana Tones.
Indiana Tones. So we'll see.
So, Jeff, you updated the legend for John, correct?
Yes.
And how did you find that experience? Was it hard to do?
No, it was pretty easy. I mean, it's kind of like the days too. You just you plug it in, you follow directions, and I mean, within 30, 40 seconds, it was updated.
Yeah. And how about your experience with the Deus too?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, no problem. I plug it in. Now I've had, I think there's been 3 updates on the Deus. And what people have to understand though, with the Deus, you have to update your headphones too. If you don't update your headphones, they're not going to communicate with the coil or the remote control. So you got to update your headphones as well. So, and then this last one, it was Louis DeFeo, Indiana Tones, is here. He's the winner. So Louis, do the email, and we'll get you your
and when you get the swag pack, Louis, take your picture and put it on the Treasure Talk Facebook page. We want to see your face. Absolutely.
That's right. And if you're strictly a YouTuber, a Treasure Talk YouTuber, then you send it in the email, and I'll post it on the page.
Absolutely.
But this latest update from the Deus 2, I believe, is they did a fix where people were complaining that their custom programs didn't stay. I think they fixed that in the last update. I may be wrong, but I think they did.
What was it that didn't? What was it they fixed, Jeff? I didn't
If
hear
you
you.
put in custom programs, when you updated, you lost them. But I think
Oh,
they got that fixed.
okay. Yeah, because you could have custom programs on the Deus too. How many can you have?
12, I think.
12 programs.
Yeah.
And how about on the Legend? Does the Legend have the custom program also? Or does it just save what your changes are each time you turn it on and off?
Well, then now it does because it didn't before, but now it does because I had my settings that I wanted on beach and beach sensitive, and it maintained them
Okay.
from yesterday to today. So, uh, yeah, it. I think they got that fixed. And as with any top line detector with a Legend or Equinox hasn't had any updates recently. But if y'all remember, they did have updates.
Yes,
And
they
with
did.
the Deus, it's an evolving detector, so you will have updates. So it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to do an update, and you have the latest, greatest. So I think it's a no-brainer myself.
Yeah, I updated a few of the Legends at my shop because they had the older version and I put them on the 7.0 now. However, I'm on a Mac, so I could do the Legend, but I couldn't do the Deus. So I'm going to have to get Big Poppy to uh, do my Deus too to the latest version because he showed me his with the big numbers on the display, and I just thought that was the coolest thing for
Yeah.
if you're wearing glasses and you need a big number, that'll help out for sure.
Yeah, and then people. We had a question. Somebody just texted me a question about the ground balance on the Deus 2. It's very easy to do. You can ground grab or you can ground balance. Out here on the beach, wet sand, dry sand, really doesn't make any difference. And either it's even on land. When you turn your detector on, you just press and hold the pinpoint button, pump your coil, and you're going to ground balance. So it's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So Jeff, do you have to go through the menu to ground balance, or you just got it in the program and you just hold the pinpoint button in and just pump the coil?
Yep, that's it. It's ground grabs it. Boom, there you go.
Okay, so it's very fast then.
Yeah,
Okay, very
very
cool.
fast. So we're about out of time. Let's bring Tim in. I'm going to mute myself and bring. I'll mute you for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
So Tim and John, you both heard the question about ground balancing. What are your feelings on it, Tim?
Ground balance on Deus 2 is really, really easy. There you have on the remote control, you have two sets of buttons, and the top right button is ground balance. You just press that one time, go down to the pinpoint button, hold that in, and pump it up and down, and boom, you're ground balance. Simple.
Yep. What about the Legend?
Okay, on the Legend, there's 3 ways of doing it. You can manually ground balance it by the ground balance button and pump it up and down. They'd like you to do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it gets within an average. You got automatic ground balance, which you just push the button once and it'll take care of itself. And then you got the tracking balance, and it'll do it as you go along.
Very good. So you're back on, Phil. Everybody's back on. We're just going to echo our way out tonight. We've
Okay,
got about 60 seconds to go.
all right. Well, listen, John and Tim, I wanted to thank you guys for coming on, and hopefully you guys will find a lot of gold over there in Daytona for sure.
We
That would
sure
be
hope
nice.
so.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
and
nice.
you got the new detectors, so you just got to get out there, use them, and find the good stuff. Because that's what it's about, having fun and adventure and finding some gold for sure. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Jocelyn, for handing me the questions. And thank you, Jeff. And thank you to Indiana Tones for being on the show. And he gets to win the swag pack. I did want to let everybody know I've got a couple items on eBay. I've got a CTX 3030, and I also have a 5-month-old Equinox 800 if somebody's interested in that, on eBay, I'm Metal Detector Guru, and you could bid on those if you like. And also, I have one of the Blue Nemo backpack, 2 battery systems left at the old price. If somebody wants to get it, Michelle Bordage got one from me a couple days ago, so got one left. If somebody wants it, the price is going up to $14.99. So if you're looking for a Blue Nemo, we've got them in stock. So
Yeah,
get it
soon
quick.
you will have another Deus one with 2 coils.
Yes, and we'll do a special on that one too, for sure.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good night. I think we tried our best to cover some of the questions that I think those people would have about these 2 fantastic detectors. And there again, I want to re-emphasize to you people, we're not bashing any detector in any way, shape, or form. I think the right detector for you is the one that you like and works for you.
Absolutely.
And
that
Phil
might be,
has them in stock, all of them.
yes, it might be a single frequency, it might be a multi-frequency, it might be a PI. But we've got them in stock put together so you could pick it up and put it in your hands and decide which one you like and which one you want, for sure.
Or ain't that the truth?
Got
So
all the manufacturers to choose from. And the
Yep,
consumer
and-
always wins, for sure.
and
Jeff.
any equipment you want too to go with it.
With a new detector, you're going to need a really big scoop. Let me just tell you that.
Boy,
Right.
ain't that the truth? You got to move some real estate.
Yes, you
So,
do. You dig
um,
deeper.
We've got coming up on Treasure Tales Thursday night. We've got, let's see, who do we have coming up? I think we have Team Lynch coming up Thursday night, and hopefully Metal Detecting with Pete. Pete, if you are out there watching, you need to get up with me to do a test. But Thursday night will be a great, great show on Treasure Tales. And Ronnie and Tiffany will be in the house as my co-hosts. And we look forward to seeing everybody there. Phil, there again, thank you so much for being my brother from another mother.
Absolutely. It's fun.
And Jocelyn, thank you for all you do, keeping him in line. I know it's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
You know, but it's one she signed up for readily. And
yes.
And my 2 other brothers from other mothers, Plays in the Dirt, John David, and the Mumbles Man. We're going to have a good rest of the trip this week, and we thank you for coming on with us tonight and sharing some of your insights. So I think we're fixing to get on out of here. So everybody, we're going to say good night, happy hunting, and dig deeper.
Happy hunting, dig deeper, my friends.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see y'all.